and welcome back to episode number 2 of the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. Here I am, your host and founder, Scott McCarthy. I'd just take a quick second, guys and gals out there, to thank you for coming back to listen to episode 2. Hopefully you have listened to episode 1, my first inaugural podcast regarding this topic, leadership. Do plan on keep moving forward and keep making this better and better as the days go on. So here we are, episode 2. Today's topic, which I'm going to get into, is going to be all around crisis management and dealing with when crises occur. But first off, I want to go back and let you know something cool that happened with me this little while. I recently had a visit by Dr. Jana Raver out of Queen's University. Dr. Raver teaches courses at Queen's in the business school, all about leadership and business leadership and so on. So we spent about 2.5 to 3 hours together one afternoon last week discussing the topic. I gave her a tour around my organization, and we had a long chat about basically organizational theory and leadership and how my unit runs and what I'm doing to make it better and so on and so forth. Excellent day for myself personally. I do hope one day to bring her in on the podcast. I think she'd be an awesome guest, personally. Feel free to check her out. Do a little Google search, Queen's University Business School, and you'll find her there. She has a lot of experience, a lot of credentials, and a great lady to chat with. As well, something that occurred with me this past little while, we did have a crisis at my work. So, hence the topic for today's podcast, crisis management. I wanted to dive in. I wanted to capture some notes while we had this crisis at my work so that I can turn around and then pass them on to you, the listeners out there. So first off, what is a crisis? The thing to remember is that a crisis will be different for any individual person to another individual person or from one organization to another. But in my mind, boiled down, a crisis is basically something that can have a prolonged negative impact upon yourself or your organization. So go back to 2008, the financial crisis, and think about that. It wasn't just here in Canada or the U.S. It actually had global impacts right across the world. It could go prolonged, which means it could almost have turned into a next Great Depression, per se. There was definitely the ability for it there, the potential for it to do that. So, to me, these meets all the criteria of what a crisis is, something that can be a prolonged negative impact on an organization. When crises occur, generally leaders will try and take the forefront and start doing what they're paid to do. And usually you can really differentiate between the ineffective leaders during crises and the truly effective leaders during crises. This is where effective leaders shine, and this is where ineffective leaders show their true colors, per se. So let's just dive down on how you can differentiate between the two and what ineffective leaders do during a moment of crisis. Sorry, it's morning, and I'm enjoying a good cup of coffee, so you may hear me slurp from time to time. Anyway, ineffective leaders during a time of crisis are going to do three things in my mind. First, they're going to spin. Now, what do I mean by spin? Spin, when leaders spin, they just are completely not in focus. They're all over the map. They're going 50 million miles an hour, yet they're going absolutely nowhere at the exact same time. They just cannot focus on what they need to focus on. They can't focus on core problems. They can't focus on the true issues at hand, and so on and so forth. So they spin, and they will ask for information on everything and nothing at the exact same time, while you and your people are trying to deal with what the issue at hand is and the crisis is. So just think about, winter time's coming now. Just think about a car. You're stuck in a snowstorm, and the car back wheels or front wheels are just continually spinning. The back of the vehicle is sliding left and right, yet you're going nowhere or you're going nowhere at a very fast pace. That is exactly what spinning leaders look like. In addition to that, ineffective leaders will cause additional chaos to the already chaotic moment of a crisis. Because of their spinning, they will generally get others worked up with them. Everybody's getting very excited. Oh my God, the boss is super excited. This is bad. We could all lose our jobs. The company's going down, so on and so forth. My livelihood is over with, and chaos just occurs. And as soon as chaos occurs within your ranks, within the people that you have working for you, then everybody else is losing focus. And then the true requirements are not going to get taken care of, and the core issue at hand will not get dealt with if additional chaos is caused by an ineffective leader. Excuse me. And finally, ineffective leaders will do absolutely nothing. They can freeze. Freezing, just think about it. Stage fright, fight or flight, right? Chaos, crises will invoke that human basic tendency to either fight or flight. So people who freeze are generally fighters. They can't deal with the situation at hand. So they just freeze. They don't know what to do. They can't think. Decisions need to be made quickly and swiftly, quickly, but decisively, yet they just can't compute in their minds what the factors are and how to make those decisions. So they turn around and they freeze. They just don't know what to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the three things in my mind what ineffective leaders do during a moment of crisis. Remember, they spin, they cause chaos, and they freeze. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin, though. Let's look at what effective leaders will do during a moment of crisis. Now, keep in mind as well, crises tend to break out the true leaders in your people. So maybe the leader for this crisis may not be someone in a leadership role per se right now. It might be just one of the guys in the ranks, as we would say in the military, or one of your daily workers. But they can come out, true leaders, times of success comes out during moments of crisis. So effective leaders do 4 real main things with me, in my mind. The first thing they do is the complete opposite of the 2 things that ineffective leaders do, in that they remain calm. They do not get worked up. They do not get excited. So by remaining calm, in fact, the leader actually becomes a calming force for the rest of the people in the organization. So if I am able to remain calm, I'm able to calm my people so that we can all look at the true core issues at hand with this crisis per se. All right. And that allows people not to spin, not to further chaos to occur, but everybody remain calm and everybody can think straight. And that's one of the big things that one of the negative factors of spinning or causing chaos that ineffective leaders have. And another contributing factor to why they freeze is that they can't think straight. So leaders and people who do think straight or remain calm can think straight. The next thing that effective leaders do during moments of crisis is they seek out facts. They don't seek out what people are, not what people think, but they don't seek out on hunches. They seek out on pure facts. What is the core issues at hand? What is the facts around that? Is it, our bottom line is sinking? Okay, why is our bottom line sinking? Why is the company not being effective? All right? They seek out facts and try to address those facts directly. And with that, effective leaders provide clear direction to their people. This is not the time for, well, maybes, or I think we might be able to do this, or how about let's try that. No, it is we need to do this to achieve that within these timelines. That is the type of clear direction you need to give to your people in a moment of crisis, because that instills confidence in them that you as the leader know what you're doing, and you in your way that you're giving that direction, again, is you are becoming a calming force for them. Okay, the boss knows what we need to do. He knows how we're going to do it, and so on. That clear direction will be absolutely critical for your people, because even if you can't fully make your people calm, then at least that clear direction will allow them to have arcs, i.e. guidelines to follow, so that they can stay calm or try to calm themselves and just follow that along. And the final thing that effective leaders do during moments of crisis is they follow up regularly. They have consistent cycles in which when they talk to the people, okay, what is the situation now? All right. And one of the things you do while you fly up, you continually reassess the situation. Has the situation changed? Has things gotten better? Arguably, or have they gotten worse, unfortunately? That could be a thing. And with that, as you reassess, as the situation progresses, you continue to reassess the situation, you need to provide more direction back to your people. Again, providing that clear direction instills the confidence in them that you as the leader know what is going on, how you guys are going to get out of this crisis, and how you're going to move forward. And again, finally, following up regularly, continuously to keep your people calm, focused, razor sharp, and ready to deal with what's going on. So that's what happens with ineffective leaders and effective leaders in moments of crisis, okay? Keep in mind that if you do come across ineffective leaders within your team, so if someone's in charge of a section of people or a small group of people and you realize that they're ineffective, you need to remove them out of that role immediately. You honestly do not have the time or the ability to mentor them through this. You need to remove them, because the crisis will have an overall negative impact upon your organization right to the bitter end. So take that person out. I'm not saying fire them per se, but what I'm saying is, you know what, Bob, you need to take a seat to Joe on this one, because he's the guy that's going to get us through this right now. I'm not saying you're fired, but I need him to run with this, and then we will seek ways to see that how you can deal with the next one. And if you find yourself as a leader and you're not sure how to deal with a crisis, one of the core things which I tell all my people when they do get wrapped up in crises and they're not sure how to act is, when something occurs, you need to have what we call the condor moment. Now, condor is basically, it's an old British term, means it's a type of pipe tobacco. So basically what we're saying is take a moment, relax, despite the crisis occurring, take a moment and smoke a condor, or smoke a pipe per se. Now, I'm not encouraging smoking here, ladies and gentlemen, it's a metaphor. But what I'm saying is take a moment, relax, breathe, and actually take in the situation slowly, in a very easy pace, so that you can then both calm yourself and as well as truly assess the situation, what the core problems are out there. That condor moment will allow you to really get a good grasp on the situation and then think out your initial strategy, your initial battle plan on how you're going to address this crisis. And then finally, in how to be a more effective leader during a moment of crisis is you have to be that calming force. I've stated this type of thing a number of times now throughout the podcast today. However, you have to be the calming force. Keeping your people calm will in turn keep you calm, keep the organization calm, but most importantly, it will allow you to actually find what the problem is and address that problem. Okay? So once you've done all that and you've gone ahead and you've addressed the crisis is past, you realize that, okay, we're out of the woods now, whatever the situation is, and it's done, it's over, and you're ready to move on. it doesn't end there. That is just one. There will be another one, and you have to be prepared for that. You have to think, okay, if that occurred once, what can be the next thing that might occur to us? Our revenues tanked because our product line was junk. Our clients told us our product line was junk, so we started losing all of our clientele. We managed to get a new product line and so on and so forth, and we got our clients back. But what can be the next thing that could turn us back down and send us back down? You have to try to get ahead of that. And finally, the last thing that you should do, what we often refer to in the military, is conduct an AAR, an after-action review. An after-action review basically captures points of what we did good and what we did bad. And what a lot of people have a hard time with AARs is delinking them from actual individuals. AARs are not meant to pinpoint at people saying Joe did not do his job, so Bob had to step in for him, or vice versa. It is about identifying within the organization and the processes that the organization does, where the weak points are, where the strengths are as well, equally important, if not more important. You need to always capitalize on your strengths. So go ahead, reach out to all your people, have the team sit in a meeting, say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through this and follow the timeline of the crisis and where you went, where it started and where you finished. You can break it up in various segments if you want, or you can do different themes. We often do themes such as, what was good within logistics, what was good within IT, what was good within our command and control, and so on and so forth. We're going to do days 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and so on and so forth. Either way, however it best suits both your organization and the crisis at hand, you do need to conduct an AAR so that you can capture these points and the organization and all your people as a whole can learn from it. And that's the most important thing. And that will be the one thing that will help you and your organization to stop that next crisis. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Quick and dirty. Again, I try to keep these podcasts around 20 minutes long to half an hour long, just so that you don't hear me drone on too long. Hopefully, this podcast today was a little bit more anime. I think so. I think a little bit better than episode 1. Again, I'm still learning, and you're still learning about me, and so on and so forth. Just to summarize again today, though, we talked about, what is a crisis, what ineffective leaders do. Again, those ineffective leaders spin, cause chaos. They'll freeze, whereas effective leaders will remain calm, seek out facts, provide clear direction, and they'll follow up regularly. And remember, if you need to be a more effective leader within a crisis moment, take that condor moment, take that moment, be alone, take a good breather, actually sit back, relax, and try to think clearly about what's going on. And always, always, always be the calming force for your people. Do not let them see you spin or cause other chaos. And finally, when it's all done over, said with, conduct that AAR so that you can learn. Your institution can learn from this chaos, this moment, and then so that you can get ready for that next battle. Remember, there will always be another one. I hope you learned something today. I certainly hope to hear from you. Feel free to swing by movingforwardleadership.com and leave a comment on the blog post, which is linked to this podcast, or feel free to leave comments either on Shout Engine or iTunes, wherever you find this podcast, wherever you found this podcast. And if you want to reach out, just feel free to go to the website and hit the contact me page. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great day, great week, and remember, keep moving forward.